Now, ever since Akulibed has taken number one from Mrekk, a lot of stuff has changed, but probably not in the way that any of us really expected. So for starters, Mrekk obviously took back number one from Akulibed, only 12 days after getting his number one stolen, which honestly doesn't really come as a surprise, considering it's Mrekk, of course, and considering he was on a little bit of a vacation. And ever since Mrekk has come back and started playing the game again, he's had a pretty good passion for the game again. He's grinding pretty much every day, he's streaming consistently, and he's putting in the hours to take his number one back and keep number one. And ever since Akulibed has taken this number one from him, it's kind of like light a fire underneath him with passion to stay number one. And to be honest, I'm not sure what's really happened with Akulibed, because ever since he lost his number one, we haven't really heard much from him. He kind of just went silent. He hasn't really been grinding like he was when he was going for number one. Now, could it be just a big burnout? Possibly. He was putting in a lot of time and effort into taking number one, and all his efforts kind of went out the window when it got taken back only 12 days afterwards, but at the end of the day, what can you expect, you know? It's not like Mrekk is just gonna let him take number one. So I'm not really too sure what's going on with Akulibed and everything. Maybe he's just having a severe burnout right now, maybe he just wants to take a break and then come back, maybe do an Mrekk method, take a break and come back and dominate. But who knows? But once again, ever since Mrekk came back, he's just been popping off. He has been grinding everything. He has turned into literally like the best aim player, better than he was, and it's quite literally insane to see it happen. Mrekk has always been known as a really good aim player, but some of these aim scores are genuinely like insane. Like, he recently just set an unranked 1500 on an aim map. Could you imagine how many 1500s or beyond 1500s Mrekk could have if more aim maps could get ranked? Like, it's just genuinely insane. Even though we are currently in a speed meta, Mrekk is defying the speed meta and playing aim, and it's working. He is like pushing the boundaries of what aim players are, and it just goes to show how dominant he really is. And honestly, this is why I think we'll never have another player like Mrekk again, or at least not for a really long time, because Mrekk is just pushing the boundaries of what should be possible in Osu, especially when it comes to aim. And in my opinion, if he gets his speed up to par with his aim, he could become genuinely one of the best players to have ever touched Osu, which of course he already is pretty much, but you never know of who can come by in the future. So as of right now, Mrekk is literally the best player Osu has ever seen. Will we have another player like this? It's kind of hard to say. In my opinion, as of right now, I don't think so. Mrekk has just pushed the boundaries of what's humanly possible, and he's still pushing them to this day. With all of his crazy aim scores and even crazy speed scores, it's honestly difficult to say if we'll ever have another player like this. And whether or not Akulibed does come back and start farming again, in my opinion, I think Mrekk is just gonna keep his number one again, cause the lead is already starting to go back into Mrekk's favor. He's almost at 100 raw PP ahead of Akulibed now, which isn't too much, obviously, but remember, that's how it started off with Mrekk and Whitecat. So unless Akulibed comes back sometime soon and Mrekk doesn't really set any more scores, it could go back into Akulibed's favor, but I don't know. In my opinion, I think Mrekk is just gonna stay number one for a little while, if not for a while. Like I said, even if Akulibed does come back and farm and gets number one back again, if any of the proposed reworks come out at any point this year or even next year, it's just gonna be Mrekk dominance again. And if that happens, I'm not sure if Akulibed will really have the motivation or passion to really reform everything again. I think Mrekk is just gonna stay number one for a little while, at least for the time being. Unless of course Akulibed comes back and farms before the PP reworks come out, then we could still have a back and forth. But after that, I think it's just gonna be Mrekk dominance again for maybe another year, 2 years, maybe even 3 or more years, until maybe somebody equally as good as Mrekk or even better than Mrekk comes around, which is kind of hard to say if that will ever happen. Mrekk is quite literally the pinnacle of peak Osu performance, and to say that we'll ever have something better than that is quite hard to say, because just take a look at some of these scores that Mrekk has set.
Same PP?
So yeah, that was pretty much my yap session of how I think we'll never have another player like Mrekk, and why I think he'll just stay #1 for a while. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Please join the Discord so you can get notified whenever I upload new videos, and whenever I go live on my Twitch at twitch.tv/notdecay_. And I would love to see you guys there, so please join below. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.